as every Chihuahua will tell you, bravery is not the same as effectiveness. And so when the big dogs went at it in the World Cup semi-final last week between New Zealand and South Africa just did not have the bite tactically to back up their bark. They're out of the World Cup. They're playing for third place against Argentina on Friday. New Zealand are through to the final. Tank was there. You swam through a gallon of your favourite beverage to get to your seat at Fortress Twickenham. What was better, the rugby or the beer?
Well, I'll tell you what, as I mentioned before, and at $110 a beer, I went light on the beer. I went heavy on the grannies. I had the Energate Golden Girls with me, so I kept everything tidy.
More than the crew.
Exactly. But it's really interesting, you know. You would not have known that the World Cup was on where I was staying. So I was at Tower Bridge. They thought I was, I was an alien because I was here to watch the World Cup.
Wow.
However, the closer you get to Twickenham, so then it became more apparent, and there were, there's some fan zones and stuff, and actually getting from Waterloo to Twickenham and then walking to the stadium is just unbelievable. And there it's proper rugby gees.
Right.
But 2 or 3 zones out, and no one knows what's going on.
Block up the street, nobody even knows why there's all these people.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, let's get to the rugby. South Africa lose against New Zealand. It's the game that we were building up to for 4 years. We're now not playing for the Cup. What does it mean? What are your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, so at least we got a few predictions right. Not all of them 100%, but the one thing we did say was that guys with ball in hand would get to the final. And, so it came to be. I thought against Wales, we could already see that the kicking, it wasn't working. We kicked poorly. And, for a team so reliant on forward dominance and then an astute kicking game, you're always going to be, fighting a losing battle. And I think the same came to be in the final. In fact, I am completely gobsmacked that we got to within 2 points. You just watched it unfold. I mean, I was in the rafters, so I got to watch it unfold.
Tactical view,
rather than tight on your phone screen or on the big screen. And it was just almost a matter of time. They're the team that came there to play rugby. You can't fault the Boks for passion, guts, charisma, all the good things. However, tactically forlorn.
Yeah. And
they were blown away.
Yeah. Listen, everybody's on the bandwagon about, re-bleating like sheep, all about the attack must improve, And sure, it doesn't look sexy and it is a very sort of stale, one-dimensional attack. But for me, that wasn't what cost us that World Cup or that match against New Zealand. It was our ability to tactically control the game with the boot. I thought we came up way short there. New Zealand had 70% territory. We didn't even have a chance to stretch our legs on attack. That was never the issue.
No, amazingly, so in 13th second, ball goes to Jesse Creel, outside gap, swerve, outside 13. I thought, oh my word, we're in for something.
Yeah.
But I mean, to your point, absolutely. The path that Hanneke had chosen was not one of ball in hand. It was one of a traditional sort of game of forward dominance and kicking. And to our point earlier, that had to be executed perfectly in order to get anywhere.
Yeah.
The fact that it wasn't was the downfall. So I think you're absolutely spot on. Where we're going as a nation with regard to rugby, I think that this speaks to where we're going wrong.
Yeah.
We couldn't change it now. We do have to change it going forward. Is Hanneke the man to do that? I question that heartily. But for me, it's about, okay, let's define the job description now, and let's see if there's people there that can do it. But for me, defining that job description is one that I don't think Hanneke can fulfill.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one thing to say he isn't the man. Who is the guy then that would step in?
Yeah, so that's especially tricky. For me, the takeouts at the World Cup is how people have utilised foreign input. So Argentina, Graham Henry has come in, and he's absolutely and utterly changed how they think. The players have all said so. He's brought up a mentality that's ball in hand, kind of an all-black ethos, and they've put that onto the park. So I think for the Boks, there must be, okay, listen, enough of this lager. The world has changed. If we're going to do cliches, it's a small little garden now.
Yeah.
Let's get some foreign influence. And if a head coach doesn't have the ability or is not willing to do so, then let's not have him. Yeah. Let's bring in a guy who's open to foreign influence, and let's use that foreign influence.
Yeah, I suppose a guy like Eddie Jones would be a great pickup, although trying to get him out of that Stormers contract would be quite pricey.
Well, that's it. They seem to jump for smaller than a fish finger these days.
Yeah. So obviously New Zealand, Australia in the final there. Did we lose to the team that's going to win the Cup?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Just a phenomenal side, and I do think the fairy tale is going to come through for legends of the game, Carter and McCaw. The word legend gets bandied about a little bit too easily.
Yeah.
Look, could absolutely stumble at the final hurdle, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Australia to win it. They've played some amazing rugby, but this is a top All Black side that is showing the rest of the world how to play rugby, and I do think they'll win the World Cup.
Yeah. Question of the week came from that rugby jockey. Wanted to know, in future World Cups, why don't we, instead of having the third, fourth playoff, have North All-Stars versus South All-Stars?
Okay, well, that would be moronic. However, I do think he's got on.
Say it like it is.
Well, it's think tank. I do think he makes a good point. I mean, it's the most arcane game of rugby.
Yeah.
And just before I answer the question, I mean, how desperately sad is it that Hanneke's picked his number one side? We've got an opportunity to now play the guys who've worked as hard as the rest of the side to get into that squad of 31, and now they're spectating from Roque, where I was last
But forget about sentimentality. If he is the guy that's staying on, this is game one of build-up to 2019. This is your chance to find out questions about everybody that hasn't played.
Potentially, yes. But I mean, for me, it's the end of a cycle that hasn't quite worked out.
Yeah.
Let the guys play.
No, but that's what I'm
Give
saying.
them license.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Play Sia Khaleesi, play Rudy Page, because
Page,
these other guys,
exactly.
Skalk's not going to the next World Cup.
No.
Victor's not going.
And if Alberts is fit, why isn't he starting? Lambie, I mean, he hasn't had any game time.
Yeah.
Skalk Brits. For me, it speaks exactly to what is wrong with South African rugby, and it really saddens me.
Yeah.
But back to the question.
Back to the question.
So it is the most arcane game of rugby, and so now Hanneke's gone from, it's sister kissing stuff, to picking his strongest side. Those two don't add up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole thing doesn't add up. North versus South All-Stars would be dreadful because the South is playing in the final.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have a South side. What about a plate, though? So all the teams that of chips with tomato sauce. No.
Plate competition.
Plate
So
competition
basically
like they do in the
SS7s,
sevens.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Talking over you, sorry. And the teams that are third and fourth in the pool, they go into another competition, gets more games, which is what people are after, because the one thing they did do is full stadia.
Yeah.
My oath.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, and all paying pounds.
Yeah.
So this is going to be great for World Rugby. So extra couple of games would have seen England back.
Gives the Northern Hemisphere team something to play for.
Don't be so condescending, Zelim. I won't talk anymore.
Brilliant. Well, that's it for this time, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in. Be sure to keep your questions rolling through after the World Cup final between New Zealand and Australia. Hopefully South Africa finished third and beat Argentina. And be sure to check out all the Rugby World Cup content you can find on vodacomrugby.co.za. Until next time, ciao.